Welcome, curious minds, to the deep dive. Today, we are strapping on our pith helmets, aren't we? We're cracking open the blueprint for what seems like an impossible expedition. The quest for King Solomon's mines.
That's right. And we're not just, giving you the plot summary. This is really about the nuts and bolts.
Exactly. We're diving deep into the sheer logistics, the personalities involved, quite the mix, really, and, well, the unexpected political storm that brews around this whole thing.
Yeah, the kind of stuff required to even attempt such a monumental journey back then.
We've gathered the details from the expedition's own records, and our mission today is to bring the sheer audacity, the knowledge, and the story of this adventure right to you.
And what hits you straight away is how grounded the main source feels. This isn't some polished historian's account.
No, not at all.
It's presented as the faithful, as he puts it, unpretending record by the man himself, Allan Quatermain.
Right, and he's very upfront about his writing skills or lack thereof.
He is. He pretty much apologizes, saying he's more accustomed to handle a rifle than a pen, and he prefers plain language. No fancy stuff.
Which kind of makes him instantly trustworthy, doesn't it? He's setting himself up as, the reliable action guy narrator. No frills.
Totally. A man of action, not flowery prose.
And I like that self-awareness. He dedicates the whole thing to all the big and little boys who read it.
Yeah, that dedication sort of signals, okay, this is going to be thrilling, maybe a bit rough, but it's an adventure story at its core.
But behind that adventurous spirit, there's a really practical, almost, painful reason he's writing it down, isn't there?
Oh, absolutely. It's deeply personal and financial. He lists like 3 main drivers.
Yeah.
First, he just has the time. He's laid up, recovering from a nasty leg injury. So, opportunity knocks, I suppose.
Makes sense. Can't hunt, might as well write.
Exactly. Second, and this seems crucial, is money. Simple as that. He desperately needs cash for his son, Harry.
Ah, yes. Harry's in London.
That's right, studying to be a doctor. And Quatermain, the old hunter, he's committed to funding him something like £200 a year for 5 years. That's a serious commitment back then.
Wow. Yeah, so the massive risk of this whole trip is directly tied to, his duty as a father.
Precisely. And then thirdly, almost like a guarantee to the reader, he promises this incredible story has no woman in it except Fulada.
Which is quite a claim for an epic. It really sets that tone, doesn't it? That sort of rough, ready, very masculine world of Victorian exploration.
It absolutely does.
So, okay, this legendary treasure hunt actually kicks off with a much more immediate, much more human goal. Finding someone who's lost.
That's the initial hook. Quatermain meets Sir Henry Curtis and Captain John Good. And Sir Henry's goal isn't riches, not at first. It's about duty. Family.
He's looking for his brother.
Yeah, his younger brother, George Neville, vanished about 6 months earlier, apparently trekking into Matabele country. Super dangerous territory.
Right, so Neville went north of the Transvaal into the interior on foot. That sounds risky, even without disappearing.
Extremely. And there's the connection to the treasure.
Ah, okay.
Neville was apparently obsessed with the legend of King Solomon's mines. That's why he went north. His last known route pointed towards this mythical place.
And Sir Henry believes he's still alive, even after all that time in such a dangerous area.
He clings to that hope, yeah. Apparently, he and his brother had a falling out years before, about 5 years back. So there's this layer of guilt, maybe. He feels this intense need to find out what happened, driven by honor, whatever the cost.
So you've got this potent mix, a rescue mission fueled by guilt and family duty, which then spirals into this potentially mythical, definitely deadly treasure hunt.
It's the perfect setup for an adventure, isn't it?
It really is. And that personal stake, finding the brother, probably gives Quatermain the sort of moral cover he needs to risk his neck for what's clearly a very generous payment.
You have to think so.
All right, let's dig into the team itself then. Beyond the motivation, you have these 3 Europeans, incredibly different characters, heading into basically uncharted Africa.
Yeah, the team dynamic is fascinating because they are such stark contrasts, but each brings something, vital.
Okay, so first up is Sir Henry Curtis, the driving force.
You could say that. He's the powerhouse, physically, described as a big man, huge, broad-chested, fair-haired, maybe Danish ancestry, only about 30. He brings the intensity, the sense of duty, and just raw physical presence, commands respect.
And then you have Captain John Good, RN Royal Navy, He sounds like a character.
Oh, totally. He's almost comedic relief, but also essential. He's the meticulous one. Broad, dark-haired, but obsessed with cleanliness and maintaining standards.
Trying to wear tweed in the jungle.
Basically. Trying to keep up appearances with his shooting suit and gaiters, but the really memorable bits are his quirks. The false teeth he keeps in his pocket.
Wait, really?
And a glass eye he apparently polishes sometimes.
Wow. Okay, so he's the fastidious gentleman,
Yeah.
somehow also an expert navigator from his Navy days.
Exactly. He represents that sort of precise British system knowledge, invaluable later on.
And rounding out the trio is Quatermain himself, the experienced guide, but he seems, well, reluctant.
He describes himself as timid, yeah. Doesn't really want the adventure, but he's the only one with the actual experience to survive out there. He's the pragmatist, the hunter, the trader.
Drawn in by the money?
Absolutely. He's the local knowledge, the survival expert, the bridge between these Englishmen's grand ideas and the harsh African reality.
But then the dynamic gets a major shakeup. A fourth member joins, Umbopa. This is where things get interesting.
Yeah, this is maybe the first big clue that there's more going on than just finding Neville or the mines. A hidden agenda starts to surface.
Okay, tell us about Umbopa.
They hire him, a cuffier man, back in Durban, and he makes an immediate impression. Tall, very handsome, quiet, dignified, and he wears a keshla.
Okay, remind us, what does the keshla signify?
It's really important context. It's that ring, usually made of gum or resin, worn on the head. It means he's a mature man, probably married, someone with recognized status or dignity in his community.
So not just some random hire. He has standing.
Definitely. He claims he's from the north, part of the Zulu people, but exiled after the whole Chaka upheaval.
Right, the Zulu expansion.
Exactly. But the key thing is his immediate intense interest when they mention going towards Suleiman's mountains. He seems way too interested, dropping hints about, royal connections, injustices, exile.
And Quatermain, the seasoned Africa hand, he must have picked up on that, surely. This guy seems too invested, too powerful almost for a simple porter role.
You'd think so, and maybe he did on some level, but the financial terms they offered Quatermain were just too good.
The money again, what were the terms?
Extremely generous. Sir Henry covers all expenses, naturally, any treasure found. Split 3 ways between Curtis, Good, and Quatermain, equal shares.
Okay, that's significant.
But the real clincher, the safety net for Quatermain, was the guarantee. He got £300 up front for expenses, and that £200 a year for Harry's education. Guaranteed for the full 5 years, even if Quatermain died or got disabled on the trip.
Wow, okay. That changes everything for him, doesn't it? His son is taken care of no matter what.
Absolutely. That security likely allowed him to push down any professional doubts he had about Umbopa's motives. The risk felt manageable, or at least justifiable.
So, the team's set, motivations are complex. Now, the logistics. Getting 3 Europeans, plus Umbopa, plus presumably other native staff, across hundreds, maybe thousands of miles of wilderness. That sounds like a nightmare.
Staggering is the word. The preparation was a huge strategic effort in itself. They knew they needed more than just backpacks.
They needed a mobile base, essentially.
Pretty much. A mobile fortress, almost. So they got hold of a big ox wagon, 22 feet long, described as half-tented, and 16 oxen to pull it.
16. Why so many?
Well, South African oxen weren't huge draft animals, apparently. And the sheer weight of supplies they needed, food, water, ammunition, trade goods, everything required that much pulling power. It was their storage, their shelter, their transport, all in one very slow-moving package. Cost a fortune, but deemed necessary.
And traveling through elephant country, potentially hostile tribes, they'd need serious firepower.
Oh, absolutely. And not just power, but smart choices about it. Logistics again.
Okay, what did they carry?
The big stuff first. 3 massive breech-loading double-8 elephant guns. These things use 11 drams of powder, serious stopping power for charging megafauna, your big medicine, as Quatermain might call it.
Right, you don't want an Elfie charging and your rifle just annoys it.
Exactly. Then they had 3 double-barrel .500 Zero Express rifles, good all-rounders for medium game or defense, and 3 Winchester repeating rifles for, versatility and faster firing if needed.
And you mentioned smart choices, standardization.
Crucial. Imagine running out of bullets for your main rifle miles from anywhere. By trying to keep calibers consistent where possible, or at least having dedicated supplies for each type, they minimize that risk. If the .500 ammo ran low, you couldn't just use an 8-bore shell. Standardization was survival.
Makes sense. And other gear. Medicine.
Vital stuff. Quinine for malaria, obviously. Basic surgical instruments you have to assume injuries were likely. water bottles, big ones holding 4 pints each. And food staples like biltong, 25 pounds of that dried meat to start. Every single item was weighed against its necessity for survival.
Okay, so they're geared up, they set off, and the reality of the wilderness hits them pretty much straight away, doesn't it?
Almost immediately, all the planning meets the chaos of Africa. Quatermain, despite saying he's timid, has to prove his worth right off the bat. They needed funds, maybe ivory, so they go on an elephant hunt.
A necessity, but also a chance to show skills, build team cohesion.
Sort of a bloody initiation, yeah. Especially for Curtis and Good, who are less experienced in that specific environment. And a test for the native bears, too.
And that hunt, it doesn't go smoothly. It turns deadly fast.
No, it really underscores the danger. They find a big herd, maybe 30 bulls. Sir Henry makes a great shot, drops one cleanly. But then another massive bull, wounded or enraged, charges Quatermain.
And Quatermain's the expert.
Right. He's nearly done for. But Captain Good, the dandy with the glass eye, makes a perfect shot, second barrel right into the charging bull's head. Saves Quatermain's life.
So Good proves his mettle despite the appearances.
Absolutely. But the encounter isn't over. There's a terrible cost.
This is where they lose someone.
Yes. Another wounded bull charges, and this time it catches one of their Zulu bearers, a man named Kiva. He was apparently one of their best men.
What happened?
The description is just brutal, clinical, almost. The elephant caught him, threw him against a tree, and basically tore him in two.
Oh my God.
Yeah. It's a shocking, grim moment. A real turning point that just rams home the seriousness of what they're doing. Planning and firepower means something, but life out there is cheap, fragile.
How did the team react?
They buried what was left of Kiva quickly, marked the spot with one of his spears, hoping to keep scavengers away, and just pushed on, solemnly. Nothing else they could do.
That kind of brutal reality check.
Yeah.
It makes their next move seem even more desperate, turning to the map.
Exactly. They've just faced a very real death, and now they're pinning their hopes on this legendary, almost mythical piece of paper.
Tell us about the map's origin again. It's pretty wild.
It really is. The story goes it came from a Portuguese guy, Dom José da Silvestre, a political refugee, apparently, who somehow made it to these mountains 300 years before.
300 years.
Yeah, and he died up there, starvation and thirst. But before he died, he supposedly drew this rough map.
And stained it with his own blood.
That's the legend. Used his own blood as ink, maybe to make it last, maybe as a final dramatic act, confirming the mines existed and showing the route.
It's just incredible that these Victorian gentlemen, pragmatic guys, would stake everything on a 300-year-old map drawn in blood by a starving man.
It speaks volumes about the power of the legend, doesn't it? And maybe their own desperation or Sir Henry's drive. The map showed key landmarks, this mountain range called Suleiman's Berg, which they later identify as the peaks called Sheba's Breasts.
Right, the Twin Peaks.
And a crucial waypoint, a place marked Panbad Water, 40 leagues away. Following this ancient, blood-stained, frankly fantastical document instead of known routes. That was probably the single biggest gamble of the whole expedition.
A huge leap of faith. And it leads them straight into the next major ordeal. The desert.
Oh, yes. The desert march. Quatermain's description just makes you feel thirsty reading it.
How does he describe it?
Utterly visceral. The sun beating down, baking them like a beefsteak on a gridiron. Glaring sand, no shade, relentless heat.
Just physically draining.
But more than that, he talks about the psychological torture, the growing, maddening thirst. He compares it to the black hole of Calcutta, just this slow, agonizing descent towards death from dehydration. Every hour was hell.
And their supplies must have been dwindling fast. How did they survive?
Yeah.
European planning didn't help here, did it?
Not this time. Technology was useless. Their salvation came from local knowledge, from one of the remaining native staff.
Who was it?
A Hottentot servant named Ventvogel. His name means wind bird. Just as they were at the absolute end of their rope, water completely gone, Ventvogel did something incredible.
Wow.
He started sniffing the air, literally smelling for water.
You're kidding.
Nope. He apparently detected the scent of a nearby impala ram, figured it must be near water, and led them towards some low hills.
And he found water.
He found a hidden cistern, yeah, filled with muddy, pretty foul-looking water, but it was water, enough to save their lives.
Saved by a man following the scent of a wild animal to find muddy water. It puts things in perspective, doesn't it?
Yeah.
What constitutes a luxury?
Totally. Quatermain says they drank that muddy water like gods. Survival completely redefines value.
So they escaped the furnace, thanks to Ventvogel, but the environment just keeps throwing curveballs at them. Next up. Mountains.
And not just any mountains. The Suleiman Mountains, the ones marked on the map, the Sheba's breasts, two colossal peaks, sheer rock faces, apparently towering 15,000 feet or more.
So they go from baking heat to
What?
altitude. Cold.
Exactly. A violent shift. Blistering desert heat one day, freezing cold and deep snow the next as they ascend. The geography is just relentlessly extreme.
And just as unforgiving as the desert, it turns out.
Tragically, yes. The cold claims another life.
Oh no, not Ventvogel, the man who just saved them.
I'm afraid so. Ventvogel, the wind bird who found the water, couldn't handle the sudden, intense cold at that altitude. They found him just frozen solid, stone dead.
That's brutal. Utterly heartbreaking. It really hammers home that even the most vital skills aren't always enough against nature's power.
A really stark, powerful moment in the narrative. But, incredibly, his death happens right beside the very place they were seeking.
The cavern, from the map.
The very one. Almost as if Ventvogel led them there before succumbing. Inside, they find it. The confirmation?
Don't tell me. The body.
The perfectly preserved body of Dom Jose da Silvestre, just like the legend said, 300 years old, kept intact by the freezing, dry air.
Wow. So they see him. The yellowed hair, the crucifix.
Everything. The yellow crucifix mentioned in the account Quatermain had read, and crucially, the knife he supposedly used to draw the map in his own blood. Seeing that body, that proof, that's the moment the quest shifts from maybe reckless gamble to, okay, this is real. They are literally following in the footsteps of history.
The legends is verified. They're not just chasing shadows anymore. So they press on, past the dead man's tomb, into Kukuanaland.
Right. They find the passage, and then they find Solomon's Road, and it's not just some old track.
Describe it. What was so remarkable about this road?
Its scale. It was immense, 50 feet wide, hewn directly out of solid rock for miles. Sir Henry, the practical man, is amazed by the engineering.
He thinks it's ancient.
Far beyond local capabilities, he reckons. He compares it to the great alpine roads in Europe, like the St. Gothard Pass. He speculates it could be Egyptian, maybe Phoenician work, thousands of years old.
An ancient superhighway leading into this lost kingdom.
Essentially, yeah. It's the gateway from the harsh-known world into this hidden valley, this isolated land the narrative calls a paradise, shielded by those impassable mountains.
They've arrived. Kukuanaland. And their first contact with the inhabitants, the Kukuanas. It's not exactly peaceful, is it?
No, it's immediately tense. They encounter the Kukuanas, and it's clear this isn't some scattered group of tribes. This is a nation, a military power.
How so?
Quatermain instantly recognizes their organization. Highly disciplined warriors, organized in regiments, using tactics similar to Chaka's Zulu impis. Very effective fighters with their throwing spears, their assegais. They're facing a cohesive, powerful society.
And the Kukuanas have presumably never seen white men before. How do they react?
With shock, suspicion, and, well, fascination, thanks to Captain Good.
Ah, Captain Good's quirks come into play again.
Big time. It's accidental genius, really. The Kukuanas are stunned by the appearance of these pale men, but Good, with his half-shaved face because he tries to shave one side daily, his shiny glass eye, and his habit of clicking his false teeth in and out.
They think he's magic. Or a god.
Something like that. They're especially fixated on the transparent eye and the fact his teeth seem to come out. They interpret it as supernatural power.
And? Good, does he realize what's happening?
He catches on quick. He sees their awe and fear, and he leans into it, starts playing the part of this, divine or magical being.
Smart move. A survival tactic.
Absolutely brilliant improvisation. It buys them crucial time, stops them from being killed on the spot.
Yeah.
But while Good is performing his dental magic act, the real political bombshell drops.
Umbopa's secret comes out.
Bang! The quiet, dignified Kafir they hired back in Durban reveals who he truly is.
He's royalty.
He is Ignosi, the rightful king of the Kukuanas. Exiled as a child when his father, the previous king, was overthrown and killed by the current ruler, Twala. Umbopa, or Ignosi, fled for his life.
Wow. And he has proof.
He does. He reveals the sacred mark, known only to the royal line, a tattoo of a great snake coiled around his waist. It's undeniable proof of his lineage.
So the whole expedition finding the brothers, seeking the mines, was for Umbopa a way to get back home and reclaim his throne. And now the adventurers are smack bang in the middle of a succession crisis.
Completely entangled. Their quest has morphed into facilitating, or at least participating in, an armed coup. They're now directly opposing the current regime.
Which is led by King Twala. What's he like?
He's presented as the epitome of cruel tyranny. A huge, imposing figure himself, but known for his ferocity. He lost an eye in battle, apparently. Rules through fear and brute force. Often seen decked out in plumes and even chainmail.
Chainmail. Where would you get that?
That's one of the mysteries. Maybe spoils from previous encounters or part of the ancient legacy of the place. But he's a formidable figure. And he has a terrifying chief advisor.
Gagul,
Yeah.
the witchfinder. She sounds unpleasant.
Unpleasant is putting it mildly. She's depicted as genuinely monstrous. Ancient, wizened, almost like a monkey with dried parchment skin and huge ears. But her age gives her immense authority. Her wisdom is feared, her pronouncements are law. She's the spiritual enforcer of Tuala's reign.
The power behind the throne, in a way.
A very twisted, terrifying way, yes. She maintains Tuala's grip through ritual and terror.
Which culminates in this annual ceremony they witness, right? The witch hunt.
Yes, a truly horrifying spectacle.
Yeah.
It's a massive public gathering in the main town, Lu. Thousands of warriors assembled. It's pure political theater designed to reinforce Tuala's power.
And Gagul performs some kind of ritual.
She does this ritual dance, weaving through the warriors, and then she points. Accuses individuals of witchcraft, of having evil thoughts or intentions.
And what happens with them?
Instant death. Tuala's son, Skraga, acts as the executioner. As soon as Gagul points, Skraga steps forward and kills the accused on the spot. No trial, no appeal, just ritual murder.
The adventurers must have been horrified.
Utterly appalled. The sheer arbitrary cruelty, the waste of life, it's too much for them. Especially when Gagul points to a beautiful young woman named Fulata.
Fulata, the one woman Quatermain mentioned in his intro.
That's her. Seeing her about to be killed is the breaking point for the Europeans. They can't just stand by.
They intervene. How?
They use their authority as these white men from the stars, leverage the fear and awe they've already generated, maybe even brandish their firearms. They step in and physically stop the execution, save Fulata's life.
That's a huge move. A public challenge to Tuala and Gagul.
It's the point of no return. By saving Fulata, they've publicly defied the king and his witchfinder and unequivocally thrown their lot in with Ignosi. Civil war is now absolutely inevitable.
Okay, so they've saved Fulata, sided with Ignosi. But Ignosi now needs to rally support, prove his claim is legitimate, and that these powerful star men are truly on his side against Tuala.
Right. He needs more than just the snake tattoo. He needs a sign. Something undeniable to sway the thousands of warriors who are still loyal to Tuala, or at least afraid of him.
They need to demonstrate their power.
And this leads to maybe the cleverest, most pivotal moment in the whole first part of the story. It's where modern knowledge becomes the ultimate weapon.
Captain Good again.
Captain Good, the meticulous naval officer. He remembers his pocket almanac. Standard issue for navigation. He checks it. And he finds that a total eclipse of the moon is predicted, and it should be visible from their location deep in southern Africa on the night of June 4th.
An eclipse.
Yeah.
It's brilliant.
Isn't it? The ultimate cosmic spectacle, delivered on demand. It's a bluff, but a bluff based on perfect scientific certainty, assuming his calculations are right.
So they use this knowledge as their sign.
Exactly. They go to Tuala, they issue an ultimatum, recognize Ignosi, or they will show their power by darkening the moon. A sign from the heavens that Tuala's time is up.
The sheer nerve of that. If they're wrong about the timing, the visibility. Clouds roll in.
They're dead, instantly executed for blasphemy or failed magic. The stakes are absolute. Imagine the pressure on Good, relying on his naval charts and astronomical tables thousands of miles from any observatory.
Okay, so the night arrives, June 4th, full moon. What happens?
The tension must have been unbearable. They wait. The moon rises, full and bright, and then, just as the almanac predicted, a shadow starts to creep across its face.
It's happening. How do the Kukuanas react?
Panic, absolute terror. For them, the moon is sacred, a deity, the lady of the heavens. Seeing it being swallowed by darkness, they believe the white men have cursed it, are destroying it.
And Tuala. Does he buy it?
He's clearly shaken. He actually orders Gagul, the ancient, powerful witchfinder, to use her magic to stop the eclipse, to make the moon bright again.
But she can't, obviously. You can't argue with orbital mechanics.
Precisely. Gagul, the embodiment of the old power, is revealed as powerless against this celestial event. The demonstration is utterly convincing.
So the eclipse works.
Perfectly. The warriors are terrified and awestruck. They see it as proof of the white men's immense power, and by extension, the legitimacy of Ignosi, whom they support. It triggers a massive shift in allegiance. Thousands defect to Ignosi's side on the spot.
Wow. They didn't win with guns, they won with an almanac. Leverage knowledge against superstition.
It's a profound moment. Global science versus local cosmology. But the intellectual victory immediately sets the stage for a physical conflict.
Right. The eclipse swayed many, but not all. Twala still has loyalists. It's triggered full-blown civil war.
Exactly. Ignosi, now openly allied with the adventurers, has to fight for the throne. The lines are drawn.
Do we know the numbers? Is it an even fight?
Not quite. The sources suggest Ignosi has rallied maybe 20,000 warriors to his cause, but Twala still commands the larger force, maybe around 35,000, so Ignosi's side is outnumbered.
So the battle is imminent. Diplomacy and signs are over. Now it's down to spears and axes.
It is, and the adventurers prepare for it. They fully commit, physically embracing the Kukuana way of war.
How so? They ditched the tweed.
They do. Sir Henry dons Kukuana war gear over a chainmail shirt, a leopard skin cloak, carrying a shield and a heavy battle axe. He looks the part of a warrior king's champion.
And Captain Good, does he finally give up the monocle?
No, that's the great detail. He also wears chainmail, but over his flannel shirt, and he deliberately keeps the monocle and makes sure his false teeth are firmly in place. It's like he's retaining those symbols of the magic that gave them their power and influence in the first place. It's a subtle nod to the deception that got them this far, even as they prepare for brutal, real combat.
That adaptability is incredible, isn't it?
Yeah.
All of them have changed so much.
Fundamentally, they survived the desert through endurance and Ventvogel skill. They survived the mountains through sheer grit. They survived the politics through Umbopa's revelation and Good's quick thinking.
And ultimately, their greatest strategic victory came not from Quatermain's hunting skills or Sir Henry's strength, but from Captain Good's naval almanac.
That's the key takeaway, isn't it? Simple knowledge applied at the right moment proved more powerful than any weapon they carried. It shifted the balance of power completely.
And the resilience required, just psychologically, to endure the desert, the cold, the constant danger, relying on each other.
Absolutely. And seeing Good go from this fussy dresser to an armored warrior about to lead troops into battle, it symbolizes their transformation.
So that's where we leave them, poised for the massive battle titled The Attack in the next section of the record. They've navigated impossible environments and complex politics.
All secured by that timely eclipse. Which brings us to that final thought, that lingering question.
Right. What if? What if the eclipse hadn't happened? What if Good's almanac was wrong, or clouds obscured the view? What if Twala hadn't panicked but called their bluff? They would likely have been executed on the spot.
Their entire success, their survival, hinged on that precise astronomical event and their daring deception.
Exactly. How much was planning, how much was knowledge, and how much was just sheer dumb luck or destiny aligning? They stand on the edge of this huge battle, knowing science saved them, but now only violence can finish it. What does that tell us about fate and human agency in the face of overwhelming odds? That's something to ponder as they brace for the fight.